Recently, I've been feeling a ton of elbow pain when it comes to training planche, and that's to be expected. You get into a new movement, it's super intense. It doesn't matter how heavy you are, how short you are, how tall you are. Even if you could be the strongest person on the planet, pound for pound, if you're getting into isometric holds, which is what planche is, you're probably going to feel elbow pain. And I'm experiencing this right now, but it's ramping up a lot quicker than I thought. The reason for this is why I believe this is just one of them, and I'm going to get into more reasons later. But one of the main reasons for this is because I was doing more attempts than I was supposed to. I was randomly trying attempts, which was causing a ton of pain in the elbow. I could feel, those gymnasts who have like the super hyper flexible elbows to where they extend it, but it like makes a curve this way. I could feel that happening. And the thing is, I'm not used to that. And now, a little bit unfortunately, at 16 years old, I am able to barely straighten my arm without pain, and there is cracks basically every time I rotate my arm with pronation and supination. It just did it. I don't know if you heard it in the mic because it was like right next to it. Why do I think this happened? I did too many max out attempts because I was excited to have a 1-2 second hold and I wanted to have like a top set. I tricked myself into the science minded, the optimal minded brain of whatever. And it's not optimal because I did it wrong. I hate when people talk about optimal and then they speak about like, oh, whoa, you gotta have 20 reps in reserve, bro. Like, that's not optimal. I hate when people do like the bro science versus like the actual science debate and they go over, well, the science people have no results. Well, then they're not science people because science people get better results. That's how that works. But whatever. Anyways, too many workouts where I would think about like, oh, I need a top set, man. I got to do my max attempt just to keep it in the groove when I should have been doing preparation. I skipped these preparation workouts, which are longer, lighter, less intense holds, where you essentially just get your tendons used to the strain that you're putting on them. The tendons, the joints, the ligaments, all of that kind of stuff. That's the pain that I'm experiencing because of the fact that I went too intense too quickly. And now I'm paying the price, and now I may have to take a complete break from it very soon because I might have did a little bit too much damage. I skipped deload workouts where I would do light sessions. When I say deload workout, I just mean a light session. So like lower intensity, lower volume, lower hold time, whatever. I would skip those because I'm making progress. I want to keep training. My elbows feel fine. I'm not hurt. Everything feels all good and dandy. That was absolutely retarded. And I'm paying the price. And I want to save you from that. So if you're interested in what I have to say so far, here's what I'm going to do and what you can do also in order to decrease the amount of pain that you feel. First thing, I'm going to increase the amount of time that I hold by using a band. I believe that specificity is the number one thing. I actually got this. I kind of knew this idea in my head, but I got this idea from a channel called We Get Better. He's another 16-year-old calisthenics athlete. He's very, very strong, very, very impressive. He's been training for a very long time, very hard work, very into self-improvement and mindset and all that kind of stuff. If you're interested in genuinely making awesome calisthenics progress, follow him. What he would talk about and what kind of gave me like the oh duh moment, that's what I like to think about when someone says something very, very obvious, but you kind of don't realize it. I call it an oh duh moment. What I kind of realized is specificity is key, especially with isometric movements. And the thing is, you want the angle to be similar. So doing a straddle planche, doing a tuck planche, doing an advanced tuck, whatever you want to call it, one leg planche, whatever, the angle is completely different than the bottom position, which is fine because you progressively overload the angle. But the thing is, when you do isometric holds, for example, I believe it's only 15 to 30 degrees of elbow flexion or joint flexion, I should say, of strength that you have. So if you're arm wrestling, for example, and you're really good at this 90-degree position, like I don't think that's 90-degree, this 90-degree-ish position, you'll be strong like right here. You'll be strong within this like 15 to 30 degree point. And the thing is, if you lean past that, then you're super weak. So progressions, in my opinion, aren't as good because of the fact that you kind of have to restart every couple of centimeters. Like you can go 15 degrees out, be a little bit weaker than where you otherwise would be. But at the same time, if you go a little bit further, you have zero strength. And you just constantly keep ramping it up, ramping it up, ramping it up. You might as well be doing just attempts at that point, and where you like kind of kick your feet up and whatever, because it's kind of the same thing. And if you're thinking like, okay, well, you got to do like 30-second holds of advanced tuck and then straddle and then all that stuff, that's just not true, because the joint angle is so different that 30-second hold really doesn't make a difference. The only difference that it would make is building up the general strength. But the thing is, you can do that with weighted dips and weighted pull-ups, no problem. And that's very controversial to say. I'm gonna have one day like a Super Clarkson review channel come at me, who's significantly larger than me, and he's gonna beat me to a pulp with his knowledge or whatever. But you can do that with weighted dips and weighted pull-ups. I'm sorry. You don't need to be doing the planche variations. The only thing there is that I've noticed is the hand balancing is important. But if you do what I'm telling you with the band, you put it around your waist, you do a full planche, just you do less intense. You keep the balance relatively similar, the joint angle relatively similar. You use a 30-pound band, use a 50-pound band, whatever. Use a 50-pound band, couple of weeks, get super, super easy. Do a couple sets of 6 seconds, 8 seconds, whatever. Go down in bands, 40 whatever pound I said. Let's say I said 30. You go down to the 20 band, then you go down to 10, and over time you're going to progressively overload to where you can hold a full. And yes, the balance is going to be a little bit different still, but it's the same as if you were to do progressions. The balance is completely different, because I can hold a straddle planche for like 4 to 8 seconds, no problem. That's with never training it before, because I'm strong in that joint angle. Because for me at least, I'm going to show you a freaking example. For me at least, when I come here, this is around where I hold a straddle. This is just this dip angle. Like, it's not a crazy thing. And yes, the straight arm strength is important. Yes, all that stuff is important, but you build that up through doing the preparation workouts, because the thing is, your tendons and your joints, if you can do like 50% of your body weight for 10 reps on weighted dips, 30 to 50% of your body weight for 8 reps on weighted pull-ups, you are more than strong enough in your tendons to start doing the preparation, to actually know the movement. But you have to do the preparation workouts first, because you need almost that extra boost. If you're taller, if you're heavier, obviously these things change a little bit. I'm short and light, so my opinion obviously doesn't matter, unless you're like Nathan Bolsh, or however you say his name, then are like 2 other people who are short and also very credible, but whatever. So that's the first thing. Second thing is going to be lower RPE. That means rate of perceived exertion. That's a kind of complicated term for people who don't know. If you do know, then just do the thing where you fast forward like 10 seconds. What that means is I'm going to lower the intensity per set. RPE on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like absolute failure for a given movement, so technical failure essentially. 1 being like, this is 1 RPE for me. This is how hard my bicep is trying right now. After maybe 10,000 of these, maybe I'll be at like RPE 6 or 4 or whatever. Just an estimation. Lower RPE, higher RPE is just more joint strain in general, because your muscles are able to contribute less. It's longer tension with a higher degree of force, because there's more forward lean, because you're kind of weakened and all that kind of stuff. No failure, no max holds, no all that. I'm going to be lowering the RPE. I'm going to be training a lot lighter. I'm going to be doing similar volume as well, but I'm actually going to follow the idea of the lighter session. So before, I would say I'm going to do 6 sets of banded holds this session. They're going to be easy, 8 to 10-second holds. No problem, nice and easy. But then, what would I do? I would do 4 sets of maxing out, and then I would do 4 sets of 3-second band holds. And I made a ton of progress. Honestly, I increased my hold time for full planche from like 1 to 2 seconds. That's like doubling it, which doesn't sound too impressive, but that's a huge difference in like 2 weeks. But the joints hurt. So I increased my hold time for a second, which was technically faster. And if I kept going, I'd probably get it 3 seconds, 4 seconds, whatever. but the joints hurt and I'm way too young to be experiencing these joint problems. So that means I'm doing something very wrong because I have a very good diet. I train very hard, all those types of things. I ate an entire box of those little pancake ball things yesterday with sugar-free syrup. I'm on a diet. Anyways, that has been everything. Hope this gave you a little bit of insight. I have a free community first link description with like a program or whatever that's going to be added soon, completely free. Second community, second link in the description is a paid program. I do like group calls and coaching calls and all that type of stuff. I give guys really good advice basically when it comes to training. I have programs in there and courses, and you get access to all the stuff that goes into my free program if it does go into my free program first. That's been everything. My name has been Brandon. Keep doing the best of doing your best. Trust God. Signing off.